I'll make a motion to start
Okay.
I'll second.
when we have to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Erica will lead us.
Yes. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. John Jones here. Dennis K. here. Sharon P.
Here.
Kate Smith, absent and excused. Bridget King.
Here.
Jennifer McConnell.
Here.
Robert Smith.
Yeah.
Kathy K. No, she's absent too, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Absent and excused.
I have not heard from her, but we'll give her
Okay.
a few minutes to see.
And Rob Jones? Good. Oh, there she is. Come on, sneaker.
I think we changed
We
your
changed your seating,
seat
you're over
too.
here,
Yeah, you're right here.
front and center.
Right.
Happens, you cause trouble.
Get over here before you get another timeout.
I didn't know I had to allow an extra 10 or 15 minutes to get through the lane.
That's right. You have to do the Pledge of Allegiance by yourself. You get to stand and we get to watch you. I think we have to do something with the Parks and Rec minutes meetings for the one that says
Wait, did you
approval of
this
April.
agenda?
Approval of agenda.
Well, approval of agenda, but we got to go back for the approval of the April minutes delayed until the June meeting.
Don't we have to approve the
Do we have to,
agenda first? though?
which one do we have to approve first?
Well, first you approve the agenda.
Okay,
April 29th and May 27th.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for June 24th, 2025.
Second.
Who was that?
all in favor? Aye. Eight zero. And then did we make the change for the April minutes?
They are on the agenda for approving, so you can approve April and May tonight.
Okay. Oh, okay, I see, you got, okay, we need the approval of the minutes for April 29th and May 27th.
I move to approve the minutes.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
8-0 again.
Does anybody need these? Are we done? Is there, got those?
Well, you're supposed, did everybody get one that way?
Yep.
Okay, if everybody got one that way, then we can send them back to Erica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She might not have got one.
Is it,
No, you didn't, take one.
okay, just take
Take one of each.
All right.
The same price if you take one or two.
I don't know if I'm supposed to keep.
We don't charge you more if you take two. Presentations, any? None? Public hearing, do we have anything? Anything?
You think it would be on the agenda?
Public comment again? Public comment again, anything?
Wheeler?
Items for consideration? Old business?
I did have a quick update. We did have the Manor Workday, but we didn't finish it, so we actually have another, and this will be in my report that I passed out. We'll go back to Manor on July 26th to complete that project, and then Kiwanis Park. If you remember, we had scheduled it, and then Kiwanis Club was going to do it, and then Kiwanis came back to us. They had to reschedule their date from last weekend, so we're partnered again. We're providing wood chips and tools. We're recruiting volunteers. That is this Saturday from 9 to 11. So, and then Moeller Park, if you
Yes.
remember, we had set a date for that, and then we canceled that due to the heat, and we don't have a date yet. We're going to do that maybe in August. So we want to get through Manor, we got to get through Kiwanis because there's a ton of wood chips coming for that project, and we may not finish on Saturday.
They did
what
a
time
good
is
job of
Saturday?
cleaning.
Here.
They did a good job of
Maybe
clean,
September.
yeah, they did a good job of cleaning out the playscape area.
Yes, DPW was brought into Kiwanis because the weeds were like grass, sod-like, very, very severe. And at Manor Park, where Sharon was, and who else was there? Yes, okay, I know there's two of us, yeah. There, it was kind of the borderline, it was pretty thick, but a lot of volunteers shoveled, but we didn't get to all the wood chips. So it's kind of needs that follow-up. But in that one, that was a tough part because we had to go up over the berm, on the wheelbarrows. It was hot, but it was a lot accomplished, so that was exciting. So that's the update on those park days. And again, I typed them out on your, on the report that I handed out. And that's all I have on old business.
Looks like new business, we've got the commemorative tree program.
Yes, so I did email some information and gave you a handout. There's a couple things. One, we do have a tree species list. Even though it says approved, I'm looking tonight for approval from the Parks and Rec Commission, all of you. I did share this with Kathleen a couple weeks ago, and I know you had one concern with the ginkgo, so we could talk about that. But basically, we're looking to provide a list of pre-approved trees that are primarily native, but the chart has some additional information, including their height, the bloom, soil preferences, and some of those things. Because currently, our website, we only offered, I think it was a maple, was the only tree. So this is just taking some research I had done before and proposing that we update and provide a list of approved trees that are good for the parks or that we want. And I don't know, we could talk about the ginkgo because that is technically a non-native, but it's a very old, thousands of years old tree. And remind us what maybe your concern was with the ginkgo, if we want to take that off.
I had read about if you happen to get the female of the species,
Yeah,
that it puts off seeds that have a really noxious odor. And, you don't know until, it's 30 years old and the tree is large.
don't know until, it's funny
It
because,
says male,
Right.
Right.
but you're saying you don't,
You don't know it's a
You don't
female
know.
until it's, reached maturity to put off
right, you'd
seed.
either be trusting a nursery who maybe
Yeah, yeah.
you don't know. So, I mean, we could remove that one. I don't know if anyone else has any feelings about the ginkgo tree. It is a beautiful.
They are pretty.
Old tree that's been, like 150 million years old. It's a pretty old species, but there definitely is that male-female species
Yeah.
concern. And I don't know, I know in the past when we've planted, the nursery says it's male, but yeah, I guess what you're saying is,
I would hope
not.
that all nurseries just carry the male of the,
yeah, what it says
that tree
here,
species.
in the thing, it says only males permitted.
Yeah, 'cause
Female trees produces foul smelling.
yeah, and it says they do produce foul smelling.
they do.
Yeah,
That's what I've read, so yeah. There was another tree that I thought of that would be kind of a cool tree that you really need a lot of area to plant. It's the Dawn redwood. And it's, unusual. It's not native, though.
Okay.
But
A dawn redwood?
Dawn redwood, yeah. But you need the wide open spaces of like a park in order to be able to plant it. Not a very good tree for
I mean, we could look,
residential.
yeah. And this would, the idea is that someone could put forward another tree that we could look at based on the space and other factors. So if you want, we can remove the ginkgo from this, and if somebody really felt strongly, we could we could look at it case by case.
so this is a list of people who want a tree planted, they could go off of this list.
Yeah, so it's kind of, so if someone comes to the city and says, we want to donate a tree, sometimes people have ideas for trees that maybe don't have, they're either not native or have other drawbacks that are maintenance related or, maybe not suited for the soil or have droppings that aren't great over a playground, or there's all sorts of things that, to think about when you're planting a tree. So the idea is to have some that we know we want more of, and give people something to work from.
I think we give them two choices, the dogwood and the tulip tree. That's it. That's all you get. One of two.
Why would we do
What are the main trees that are in?
Why would we
the
not want to bring the butterflies and the bees back? Because
Right, but
nobody,
each one of these has value.
Oh, yeah.
but I
they do.
guarantee you, those two have more value than anything else on this list. For butterflies and
oak,
bees.
A chinkapin, have you seen a chinkapin? It's like the most gorgeous
Yeah, it is.
oak tree. I mean, all of these red buds, these are all free.
Yeah.
Oh, why would you do that?
What do you,
do that.
are you the tree expert, or are they? Yeah, let's take a vote
Are you an
here.
arborist?
Yeah,
That's,
the oak trees, provide food, and they bloom.
Usually diversity is great, because if you get some kind of
We don't
invasive
have any
thing-
dogwoods or tulips in our park.
We don't have, well, we have some parks that don't have any trees. So usually a variety is good, because if some kind of, disease, you remember the elm stuff or the ash
Yes.
borer, like that's what we learned is
Oak
it's
wilt.
good to have
Yeah.
a variety, especially when some have a spring bloom, some have the fall colors, so it's nice to.
and if
have a
somebody wants to
variety.
donate a tree, it's nice to have a large number of trees they can pick from.
Right.
Well, right, and, based on the soil conditions or,
Availability.
yeah,
Yeah.
availability and what people,
Yeah, that's half the battle, is trying to find some of these.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Well, does anybody know when they can determine if it's male or female? I mean, it
on
seems
the
like.
ginkgo,
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea, because obviously, I looked at the list and it drew my attention for the two that were not native. So I went to Google, I did a little search, and I noticed that the female, it said something about the seeds and slimy and obviously smell. It seems like even when you buy these trees, what are they? They're 4 years old or so, or they're, I don't know, right? Or are they just real small?
I don't know. I remember in my previous job, we planted a ginkgo tree before, but I don't know, I remember knowing it had to be male, but I don't
Written
remember.
right here, I mean, if they happen to plant a female, we can cut it down, right?
That is
I mean,
true.
But you gotta
If we go
replace
there and
this
it
tree.
smells, that tree's
Yeah,
coming down.
Yeah,
I think of the other one, the hackberry says it has small edible fruit, so I assume it has flowers on it then.
Well, even the oak trees have flowers at some point, you just don't see them.
Yes.
Anything that bears a fruit would have a flower at some point.
So,
Tell you the truth, I'm fine with all of them.
Yeah, I like your list.
I like the sugar maple.
So do we want to approve this and we can add it to our website? I mean, or should we take the ginkgo off? What do you all want to do?
Take the ginkgo out.
Okay, or do you want to vote on that?
Actually, we should vote on it.
I like the variety, I don't care either way.
All right, vote on
I
it.
say,
Vote on it.
I'm good with,
Well, somebody has to make a motion to vote.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the list as presented.
Second.
seconded.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
8-0?
Okay,
Yep.
so keep the ginkgo,
Yep.
keep our eye on if that comes forward.
That smelly
know what?
tree in mine.
I would think any reputable nursery is not gonna sell
Yeah.
the female of the, I mean,
So
think
it
it
is a
probably-
neat tree, so
yeah.
I think if you tell
And
them you
then
want a ginkgo and you
I
want a
will look
male,
into
not
the
a
Dawn
female,
Redwood for sure. I'll look into that.
I'm with you.
Yeah, oh,
Because
you-
I'm curious.
Yeah, look, it is an interesting tree because it does shed some of its needles. It's different, it's just, you have to see,
Yeah, I'll have to
look it up on the internet.
And I like the way you say donors, and residents are welcome to propose planting a species that is not presented on this list. So that gives them a chance to present something.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the tree species list. So the other thing is our tree program. So currently, we actually took down our program from the website. There's a couple of challenges right now, just having done one tree planting in the last 8 months. Our fee, when it came down to pricing out a tree from a nursery, for example, the tree that we just planted at Florence Park was a sugar maple that cost $900. So right now it was like $800 to donate it. So we're not quite covering the cost of it. And I did try to find other nurseries to see if we could find one cheaper, but those nurseries, it was like first come, first available, and after about a month of like calling every week, and I just had to go back to Davy, the tree service, and say, yeah, we want this, and they did a great job, you know, because then we have to do a mist dig, and they come out and plant it, and so we need to at least meet the cost of the actual tree. And then the other piece was the plaque. So we said on our website that we have a bronze plaque that gets cemented in, and that's for $200. Well, that you cannot get a bronze plaque for that. So after doing some pricing on that, and doing a little bit of research on tree recognition, because we talked about this before, I am of the preference to not allow sort of in-ground placking, just because over time it tends to look like cemetery. And I just Googled, and I didn't bring my research with me, but I checked about 10 websites, just kind of looking across the country. And I think about 7 of them did not do on-site recognition, and 3 did. So you can go either way, and I thought of a few possibilities, either for recognizing on-site, like Mike had an idea with parks to maybe under the park sign, add a small like hanging plaque to the sign that recognizes a tree donation in the park. You know, we looked at boulders and other things, but the boulders have to be big enough to not be carried away, and get into boulders, they're actually quite expensive to get the ones that you can't carry off, and you still got to plaque them. Another option, which I don't think many people like, but is online recognition, where we could take a photo of the tree and allow the donor to make a tribute or something, and then it could be available to family and friends across the country, or, you know, not local, and either updated every year or, you know, show the tree growth somehow. So I wanted to get your input because, you know, I think it would be nice if we could allow for more tree donations, because some of the parks really are low on trees, you know, but there is an approval process. We have to make sure that it's not in the middle of a soccer field or an area that other people are using for different things that we don't know about.
Yeah, put one on the pitcher's mound.
And, you know, and then, you know, all the considerations of species lists. And the one thing that, you know, I do know is it's very time consuming for staff. So just this one tree donation, I counted over 45 emails just in coordinating with the nursery, with the donor, on the plaque, so just over like 8 months. It's really time consuming. So, you know, I'm like, I don't know how many we could do in 1 year, for example. But I also think it's really important that we encourage, you know, tree donations and plaque, benches, which do have the plaque on them. So I just wanted to get your thoughts of, because we've sort of talked about this, but I haven't really come to any conclusion. So what I drafted was kind of an updated version, but again, want to get your thoughts on pricing, because I was proposing like $1,000. I think that would cover at least the tree, the delivery, and the planting, although it may vary by species too.
Who brought us a birch tree? Didn't someone try and give us a birch tree?
Oh, really?
I don't know. That was probably before my time. Yeah, or fill me in on any history that I don't know.
I
The
planted
other,
one.
oh, did you? Okay.
Now, if you put
The
a,
other thing is, Could you have an area at Radcliffe where you recognize people for different things like this? So then that way you could put it online, then it's at Radcliffe, you just keep, when people get it, you just put it there, and they're always there.
Almost
And then
like a
that way-
tree.
That way it's like,
Put little leaves that
well, the other
show-
thing you could do is you could
Yeah.
take a picture of the person standing next to the seedling if you wanted to, and then tell them, anytime you want a picture when it gets bigger, we'll take another one. Who
Yeah.
cares?
I actually like that.
And you'd have to put
Yeah,
on.
that is a good
And
idea.
put on it what park it's,
Could have like,
what park
Yeah,
it
what
is in.
park
be
is
a
that?
cluster.
Yes.
Yeah, you could have, and then you could, as they do it in the different parks, you can just have it for different parks. And if you get a second or third tree, you just start
Yeah.
putting them underneath each other.
I like that idea. So you get like a little engraving leaf.
Yeah,
on
because
a
you could
tree
still,
that
you could still
shows-
do some engraving then. Then it's probably gonna be cost effective.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
We actually did something like that at my church where if you wanted to commemorate, for something and they just have a little engraved plaque that's about this size,
Yeah.
depending on how much you wanted to pay. You want
Okay.
bigger, the
Right.
more money, the bigger the plaque. But anyway, and they had a whole
Yeah.
board of people that,
Have we
And the
discussed
city
how
doesn't
many?
have anybody who can do, we don't have anybody who knows how to do the blank, like brass tags or anything like that. We don't have anything.
No, but we have a local vendor,
probably the trophy. like-
It's
stadium
gotta be one of,
trophy.
it's gotta be one of the places that you get shirts or whatever done.
Yeah, right on Ford Road is
Right.
Stadium Trophy that does that kind of stuff.
Have we discussed how many were done in like 24 and 23? How many have been historically done?
So this is the first one that in my time is the only one. And when I asked DPW, like, hey, what's this? Here's what our website says. And they're like, oh, we've never done that. And I'm like, so I think it's like a new, or it was unveiled as new. And I just don't think many, either we haven't promoted it or people didn't really know. So
Okay.
I don't really know much history on where. I think there was one tree donation already at Florence, right? Or wasn't it Kate's tree? Did Kate donate that? Oh, okay. Well, she's
I
not
think
here.
it's a fairly new program because I had asked about it, years ago. And no one there was no commemorative tree program
Okay.
at that
So
time.
maybe it is fairly new. It just hasn't actually gotten a lot of
Yeah,
interest. Because,
Right.
yeah, I couldn't find a single other tree that had been done.
I think it's been around for a while, but just with the changing of the guards, people forgot about it.
Well, I feel like there's been some done, I just don't know if were done through the city or not. Because I
Yeah.
know definitely like our neighbor, who used to be a council member years ago, like his family has one at Rotary.
and there's a plaque in the ground.
Yeah, there's a plaque
The
in the
Bristol,
Okay,
was it
Bristol.
Bristol? Yeah.
And
But-
then I know years and years ago, when we were in soccer, a soccer family, dad had passed away. And this, like, Cub Scout, they planted one, but I don't know if it was done through the city or not, or I know it's planted at Rotary also.
Okay.
We have
I
done
think that one
the
has a plaque,
benches, though. We have a bench, right? Right?
Yeah, benches, I know there's been some recent ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause there's two at City Park, the benches by the.
Yeah. And those are easier to plaque
Yeah.
and recognize. It's more common.
Do they pay for this all at once?
What's that?
Do they pay for it all at once?
Yeah, the donor? Yeah.
Is there any way they could make payments over a 4-month period? Maybe some people are looking at, I just can't afford to put $1,000 out there for a tree, but if they did it over a few months, maybe you would get some traction with it. I don't know, because I'm looking at this, and if it's a new program, and I think this has been around a lot longer than we all think it has
Yeah.
been. And I think if we're not getting any tractions with it, obviously our marketing has been terrible, and we haven't really done anything to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair.
Right.
I mean, it takes almost a year to get it going, so we could definitely do the partial payment plan.
Well, I mean, because if you look at it, if you look at what people see today when they're on Amazon and Marketplace and all those other places, a lot of times you'll see 4 payments over 4 months,
Oh, yeah.
Payments over 6 months,
But
right?
the
And it's
nursery-
the same amount. But the thing is, if we do what she's saying and we take it for 4 months, we don't have to order the tree till we have all the money.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. The nursery's going to want their money up front. They're not
Yeah,
gonna-
but we're not going to order it till we get all the money.
Yeah.
But really, like, if you come in the summer, you know, we want to do a tree, it can take almost to the whole next spring before we've got.
Well, if
locations.
they've sold out of them, if they've sold out of them and they've got to grow them, or they've got to get them in from one of their growers,
Right, yeah.
But is that going to be a real hassle to keep track of that financially, you know what I
I
mean?
mean,
well, I don't think so if you've only got 1 or 2. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if you got 100 of them, yeah, that's
yeah,
going to
we're
be,
gonna
that's going to be
limited.
brutal.
And I think what would happen is our capacity could be like 2 per season, and typically it's either spring or fall. You know, the one at Florence didn't happen till June, which is not ideal, but that was because we had trouble getting the trees and,
Maybe I'm missing it. What size is the tree when they plant it?
the one at Florence is quite nice. I think typically we want them 1.5 inches, does it say in here?
That's what I was looking for.
You mean the trunk diameter, 1.5 inches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes, like the sapling or whatnot,
Yeah,
a higher chance of dying.
and the wind
Get
can.
mowed over,
Yeah, and the wind can hurt it.
yeah.
So you're saying the one that they just put in didn't need to be staked or anything, it was already big enough around and everything
It's still
else? and-
staked.
Okay, okay.
That's quite nice. I'll send you guys a photo of it.
And Davy staked it and everything, put it all together.
Yeah. Yep, they did all that. And then the donor.
Field trip
the
to
other
sports
thing
venue, Erica's
that I've
buying.
added is that the donor has to help us water for the first 2 years, because that's, the
Second.
city staff, really, we don't have staff to do that. So that's part of the donation, is helping keep an eye on it when it's dry to get out there.
Have we looked at those water tree bags? Do they
Yeah,
work?
and we have those out there, like Davy donate, or included that. But you still have to fill.
No, but that would be good. If somebody would donate that, then it's not out there every day watering it. You just got to figure out, okay, I'm going to fill this tree bag. Now, is it going to last a day, 2 days? Is it going to last longer when it's hotter, or is it going to last not as long when it's hot?
Yeah.
You just need to figure out what it is.
Still gotta water the bags weekly.
Yes.
And
I would hope it would be
There's some
weekly.
debate on the effectiveness of the bags, but, I mean, I think they're worth doing.
And how do you fill it? I mean, you just
Well,
take
you
a watering can? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's just as cumbersome as, like,
Okay.
filling it with.
I've never
a
used
water
one.
jug, you know, I mean, getting water there, usually I would say, like, get a couple gallon, like, milk gallon jugs, and then fill them up and bring them out.
Water twice a week.
does it also include the mulch?
Yeah,
Okay,
yep.
all right. And Davy, now, are they choosing the supplier of the tree then? They're finding it?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
So Davy handles all of that.
they're a one-stop shop.
Yeah, and I think that's why they're more expensive, because I called elsewhere, it was cheaper, but I could not get it reserved, I couldn't get a date, I couldn't.
Right.
And as the month, like, as we got to the end of May, I'm like, we're just gonna have to pay for Davy and
Yeah,
get this
and
in.
they have a machine, I assume, that digs the whole one. and
Actually,
everything. Or
they
did
came
dig it?
out and hand dug it.
Did they?
Well, the root ball must not have been that big, was it? Did you see
Well,
it?
funny thing was, I had to leave before the tree arrived, but I was there when they were digging it, or the first guy was digging it. And then, when I came back, it was planted, and no one will show me the photos. So I'm waiting for Zach downstairs to send them to me. So,
Mysterious.
I didn't see
person
it,
behind the.
but usually it's, I mean, it is a big tree, It's bigger, not like
Now, can I ask you though,
sugar maple.
okay, did you ask Davy about the varieties of trees and the availability of them?
No.
Okay, because a lot of times, all they can get is maples.
Yes,
And-
I've definitely run
and then
into
you're
the
stuck
challenges of
with-
finding specialties
Yeah.
because they might be seasonal one time a year or they're out. But some of the more popular ones are easier to get,
Sure.
but, yeah. And I mean, there are trees, like, I think, and we talked about like the red bud. I know Costco had red buds this spring that were like $65.
Yeah, good deal.
You know, so like, I think there could always be exceptions.
Right.
But that's not quite the same size and scale as,
So, okay, for instance, if somebody did find, it happened to be spring, they wanted to do and they wanted this tree planted, it wouldn't cost them the $1,000 though, would it?
no, I mean, I would be fine if people wanted to donate a tree that was either an inch and a half or like
Okay.
a decent size. If they paid for the tree, paid for delivery, and either install or help dig, and then watered it, and maybe like $100 admin fee just for like some coordination, because we still have to do a misdig and all that, like, we could totally work with that.
Okay.
So I don't know if we should put that into the program as an option, but we also don't want just people bringing saplings and,
Willy-nilly, yeah.
And ideally, we would have a nice tree inventory of all our parks and have like a plan of what we want to plant, like more of in certain areas. So we don't have any of that right now. But it would be nice, especially, even City Park or Rotary, not Rotary, Kiwanis, which have nice older tree canopy, like to still have a plan for planting now for the next 20, 30 years.
I can maybe check with the garden club and see if we can maybe,
Help us?
help you with, because actually in City Park, the garden club planted those purple sand cherries, I think they are.
Okay.
It's a lower growing shrubby bush, it's around the
Is it by-
parking area.
By Cherry Hill Road?
They're actually sporadically, there's some near the post office, there's some by Merriman.
Okay.
It's all around the
Okay,
park.
okay.
They did like, I think
Okay.
we did about 30.
Oh, okay.
They're about that tall.
It might be a little
Little bit
taller
taller,
now,
yeah, I've seen
they were some, probably that tall when they planted them. But they're doing well
Yeah.
without a lot of care. Nobody's been watering them.
Yeah.
But we chose those
Because they're,
because they are kind of hardy.
You got to find those drought tolerant
And they are,
plants.
yeah.
Maintenance free.
well, and that's why native trees usually are preferred, because they're accustomed to this
Environment.
environment. Typically, they do better.
And the winters.
They
that's-
withstand, the elements and the,
Well, yeah, and Barson's has that butterfly habitat that they have
Okay.
there. Have you ever been there?
in Barson's?
Yeah, they have a greenhouse.
You gotta go there.
Butterfly house, they have a butterfly
Yeah.
house.
I don't know if I've been in the.
And they let them go at the end of, don't they let them go
At the end
You
of
know
the
what, I
season.
don't
at the end
know.
of the
At
season?
the end of the season, I think they grow them all and then they let them go so they
But
can go
in there, they
to
have
Mexico or
plants
wherever.
that the butterflies
Yeah.
like.
Milkweed and all that
And
kind of
even,
stuff.
and maybe we should, if somebody wanted to put in some,
Are you on the?
Butterfly.
Are you on
the garden club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Put this in the back of your notes. See if you can make a way station in the park. Do you know what a way station
Oh,
is?
for the
Make a
monarchs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
make a butterfly way station for them.
What's the butterfly waste station?
Well, what happens is you have to have so many plants. Just for conversation purposes, let's say you gotta have 16. So you'd have to have like 4 butterfly weed, 4 Joe weed plants. You have to have plants that attract the bees and the butterflies.
I didn't
And
know
it's
they
more,
had
it's more the monarchs. So then once you have your 16 plants planted, you can call it a butterfly way station. And I think for about $20, there's a website that you can send in to, and they will list you as a butterfly way station. Now, do you get anything more out of it? Probably not. But you know what? If we all, I hate to say this, if we all don't start looking at that, we have just killed our bee and butterfly population. And it may not be affecting us now, but down the road and then going to electric cars, you're not going to get anything to grow or turn green if you go to electric cars. You're done.
And
But
just,
I would think it would be cool for Garden City to have something like that.
well,
Or maybe if
we
they,
do
I thought
have a
we should have more
butterfly
gardens
garden
in Garden
in,
City.
Right.
in Garden City Park.
but you know what? Maybe check it out. Maybe it I don't know, it qualifies for a way station.
I think that one of the things is you have to have, it might have been a source of water, for the butterflies. There was, Either that or we might have already applied for it and just waiting
Okay.
for the plaque.
Sure.
I'll have to check with Pat on that to see. But, you know, there already is a butterfly area there.
There's a
for
plot out there.
Small plants.
Yeah.
What I was getting at more was, because since we were on the tree subject, was more of the shrubby, you know, kind of lilac size
Yeah.
trees, like the arrowwood viburnum. I know the butterflies, certain butterflies love those. Those kind of plants, instead of like a full mature tree
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah, I mean, maybe I should meet with the garden club sometime and just talk about some ideas at some of the parks for either more
Yeah.
native things or even tree suggestions,
Sure.
you know.
There's that one section, that's been there a long time, near Cherry Hill and Henry Ruff.
Right, that's the butterfly garden, yeah,
That's been there for
yeah.
Yeah.
a long time.
And we've really, you know, put a lot of effort into trying to keep that maintained, because there was quite a few years where we,
Oh, yes, it was
we,
bad
there
for a
wasn't a whole lot of time put into it, and it didn't look very good.
Well, I think that was during COVID.
No, it was
It was
Maintenance
before
is
that.
always
Yeah,
hard.
You know, speaking of though native plantings, have you ever been to the park in Westland? It's off of Joy, and I think one of the elementary school teachers might have, you know, initiated and started it, but it's such a cool native planting. It's off of Joy, right across from Franklin High
Oh,
School.
Corrado.
Is that the name of the park?
I think so. It's off of Flamingo and Joy. There's a light right there.
Anyway, in the one back corner of it, they must have, gosh, I bet you it's close to an acre planted of just like native wildflowers. Now, it looks pretty unruly, but you wouldn't believe the birds and the insects and butterflies that it attracts. And I even went there last fall, really late after everything was bloomed.
Yeah,
And there was just birds that galore there,
yeah.
gathering the seeds. It was cool. I'm like, if you plant it, they will come,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, the maintenance is always the challenge.
It
'cause
is.
You go 1 year, if you miss
Yeah.
maintaining it, it's
But if
goes
they're
for a while.
wildflowers, they usually can survive.
But
Yeah,
it would be nice to, you know, have more gardens and just the greenery, because it is for the habitat, the environment, you know, all those things. It is an important part of the park's purpose and benefit, so.
And you're right, most of those butterfly packets for flowers and stuff like that, I can tell you this, at my house, 2 years straight, all I did was just open up 3 packets, sprinkled them in November, and then let the magic happen next year.
and they're gonna,
They do, it just happens. They're not hard to take care of.
it's like Field of Dreams. If you plant it, they will come right.
As long as they're not, as long as they're not.
Right, and then like you guys said, the wildflowers really don't need that much water, so all you have to do is just keep an eye on them, and if you see them getting a little lean, then you just give them a drink.
No, it's just keeping the stuff that you don't want.
The
under-
invasive.
The weeds and stuff.
And then it just looks like a big patch of weeds, and nobody knows it's a butterfly.
Like rain gardens.
Yeah.
I mean, because a lot of parks have water issues, right? I mean,
Yep.
like Arcola definitely's got, so rain gardens are a really good option, but those, again, are really, you gotta stay on them, or else next thing you know, you've got invasives growing and weed trees, and
Yep,
then they just look like a weed pile. But they're really beneficial.
yes. Yeah, we could actually use a rain garden over there along Cherry Hill, where it always has
It
collected
cleans the
water.
water, it absorbs excess,
Yeah.
and we know just with climate changing and rain comes so fast and hard now, and you know, you get these like flash floods. So it's so important in our parks. All right, are we getting off track?
Yep, sorry.
All right,
I forget, what do we,
we were on new business and we were talking about the trees.
should I add something about if you want to donate a tree, you know, like, as a case by case?
I think your best bet is to do exactly what you just said. Say I wanted to go and that somebody had trees for whatever, $50, and I brought you 4 of them and said plant them, then you guys are gonna have to come back and tell me what it's gonna cost to put them in the ground. or we're gonna have to go back to you guys and say, hey, we got these 4 trees, and they're not very big, and, you know. I think if somebody wants to give us trees to plant, we should try and figure out how we can accommodate them,
Yeah.
especially if they're not willing to pay that $1,000 price, and I get it.
Is there a way to like put that in there, that if there
Yeah, I
may
mean,
be
I can certainly put in there,
exceptions?
if you've got trees that you want to donate, I mean.
That meet
but
the
I think we do
criteria.
need a minimum size,
Right.
so I
Yes.
would confirm that. I mean, yeah, I'd be open to that. and
Can't
trying
we
to
vote
find-
on, like, the tree program now and then add addendums to it later?
Yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
mean, at least have it out there so people want to, this is what it is now. And then we can work on something more in the lines of
expanding it
donations and size requirements and that.
I agree.
I like it. Somebody make a motion to, we'd have to adjust the tree amendment and put it in there and just, somebody's going to have to make a
Sort of
motion.
Come up with an additional donation option.
Right, but somebody's going to have to come up with a motion so you can add
We
it
can do
to
that
it.
later, though, can't we?
Yeah, I think we can.
Let's just do the
Approve it as is.
commemorative tree program right now, as it's written. And then we can make
And I
an,
can work, so I can follow up with the addendum, sort of option 2.
yeah,
And also maybe the recognition idea. I'd like to look into something like that, where we
That'd
could
be somewhere-
do a little engraving, but we have like a home base where we recognize them. And we could have a QR code where you could go look at the trees, right? We could like,
yeah.
on
I
our
mean,
Plus,
website.
and plus that anyway,
Every year,
when you start the plaque thing,
See it grow, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that'd be kind of.
when you start the plaque thing, you can use it for different things too. Not only that, I mean.
Trees.
Well, if people want to make a donation or something like that.
You know, in the shape of a tree, you
Yeah, that's
know,
what I
with the
see, a
little,
big tree.
I like that idea.
That'd be pretty neat. Me make a
Because then it would promote itself too,
Yeah.
you know?
yes.
Tree leaves.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure you can buy a bronze leaf and have it engraved.
Yeah, no, I've actually seen one at a library, so in my mind, I'm gonna go find out where they got that. And so I'll do some research.
Farmington?
Okay,
Novi.
Okay, because Farmington might
They
have
have like a
something similar.
memorial tree that you can do
Yeah.
in a family name, and you just get a leaf.
Yeah,
It'd be perfect for it.
yeah.
All right, so I can work on that.
You'll take care of that?
Well, yeah, I'll
Okay.
do a little research and bring that back. And the kind of option for a donation where they are gonna provide the tree, including the delivery of it, you know, at a certain size and as another way.
What if you market it as 2 options, you know, hassle-free commemorative tree program, and then a cost economy version, basically, with bullet points of that, we'll take care of everything for this $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one, they definitely have to get approval, and then they have to.
And they have to do a little more of the work.
Yeah. They
And
pretty
it
much
may
do all the
include
work, they
digging
just
the
get
hole.
the city's approval.
Yeah.
And placement and tree approval. Yeah, everything, and they're still responsible for the tree,
Yeah.
watering it, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I know where I was before, it was exactly like that, and no one ever did the expensive one. But the program that ran the cheaper one was Adopt a Park. So you work with the Adopt a Park coordinator on it. We just don't have a lot of staff, so we would just have to limit how many we could do a year.
And the other thing is, we don't have all the parks adopted out either.
Well, that doesn't matter.
No, but I'm saying if you did,
To do a tree donation.
right, but if you had Adopt a Park and people were, all of a sudden, if we come up with this and now all of a sudden hundreds of people bring us trees, you're going to be wishing somebody had adopted that park.
well, they would have to talk to us first.
But I think that's a great idea, where one option is cheaper, but you have to do more of the work, potentially digging the hole, because that's actually a lot of work
Yes, it
to
is.
dig a hole for a tree.
Yes.
And transporting it. Otherwise, you just pay for it, the ease of a company to do it. But, I mean, I like the idea of it being more affordable and more attractive for people to donate trees.
So like the $1,000 would be the total package. We'll plant it and everything.
Yeah,
And then you have
1,000 is
some-
like Davy
Yeah,
Tree
they
or
do it
whoever
all.
comes in and does it.
And then you have another one for like a little cheaper price, but
We don't know what
Basically, the cost
that's
of
to
the
be,
tree-
that's to be determined, because the person, if they're going out and let's say, like, you went to, we'll use Randazzo's, it's the end of the season. You find a tree that's on here, Randazzo's got them at 75% off, and you go, hey, I'm gonna buy 4 of these and take them to Garden City. Well, you better talk to somebody
Well, they
first.
better
but-
talk to us first before they
right,
do
before
it.
they go buy the
Right, but
tree.
that's exactly it. The cost of the tree is on them, and however they want to transport.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to
and
transport it
plant
here.
But if they're willing to do those things, then
And
they make
water
that
it.
donation, and I would put just an administrative fee on it, like $100. And then the watering commitment.
Tell them in the fall. they
Really
have to
need
break the
somebody
leaves.
out there to
Right.
approve where they're going to place it. But then you also want somebody to go back, just like a building permit, you want somebody to go back and make sure it was planted correctly, right? I mean, in the right spot.
Yeah, I mean, there would still have to be an approval of the tree type and location. Because like,
List,
we
right?
run it by maintenance, right? Because they're maintaining it. We want to make sure, like I said, it's not in an area that, for whatever reason, is not.
That would be what the administrative fee would be.
Right, right.
Okay.
So we still have to spend time like approving it and checking it out. And then, I mean, probably we would have staff there at the
Just to
planting site.
Watch them plant it, how they
Make
plant it.
sure.
Up to $200 administrative fees.
Well, I mean, it's not going to cover the time, but I mean, it's just like more of a commitment sometimes if you have a fee like that, and it does sort of show there is a time spent on this. All right, so you guys got a motion?
Oh,
I can't make it. Somebody has to make it. I can't make it.
I move to make a motion of the commemorative tree program as stated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
8-0.
They have to clean the leaves too.
Public comment, you have 3 minutes. Anything?
3 full minutes, all yours.
This is now back, this is now back to Erica. We're volleying into Erica.
I did pass out the director report. The first page has May participation program numbers. I won't go through all of that, but as a reminder, the ice rink did close at the end of May. Senior fitness room continues to be quite busy, over 300 visits. Still a lot of activity at Radcliffe, even as we've cranked down into our summer construction hours, although these are all May numbers, so I won't go over that. The second page is grant overview. I think a couple of notes. I think since the last meeting, we did receive, what is the 4th reimbursement from ARPA? So to date, 3.2 million has been reimbursed. About 478,000 is been encumbered or is in progress of being spent, meaning we have just around 300,000 left. Some of that is still budgeted in certain areas, and that committee is still meeting to prioritize that. We are getting, closer and closer to the October 31st deadline, which is when we have to have all that spent. I guess I'll talk about projects on the back page, but the other grants, so the HUD grant for the 2.1 million, we finally executed the contract with our HVAC contractor, Quality Air, so they have been over at Radcliffe every day, trying to prioritize the work there as well, and at the same time, I think they cut some of the controls for about 20 rooms, so we've been dealing with no AC the last few days, which as you can imagine is not
Walking the
been
hallways
ideal.
Yeah, of course.
What's that?
Walking the hallway was a little,
Yeah, but as of tonight, I think they were able to repair that. So it's every day is very exciting over there. And we do have some contingency money, so we're adding some things that weren't on the original scope. I know, like, there's no AC in the front office, there's no AC in the kitchen. And there's another boiler tank for the domestic water that was not on the replacement. So there's a handful of things coming up that we're going to hopefully be able to complete with the contingency money. The CDBG funds that are dedicated to the ADA bathroom projects, very exciting. A lot of progress is happening on the main entrance bathrooms, and at the same time, we had a little money left over to address the dance hallway bathrooms. So both of those have the end of June deadline, so we had to do both of them at the same time. So if you come to Radcliffe, there's really only one set of bathrooms away in the southwest corner, so not ideal, but we're trying to, get this money spent and back. So that's really exciting, and things are happening quickly on that. And then I did want to report that at the end of May, we got the reimbursement on the Wayne County millage, the City Park Playground. So that project is fully wrapped up. And then I think on the projects, I just talked about a lot of these, trying to think, the community kitchen, we're kind of waiting on the laundry room to finish so we can move the laundry facilities from the kitchen to the laundry room so the kitchen work can get going. Still finalizing equipment and the remaining work in the kitchen. The gymnasium is really got a lot happening. The stage and audio box have been removed. There was some HVAC items removed, some asbestos abatement that went on. Last night, council approved some electrical, flooring, the basketball hoops. We've got 4 hoops coming in, 2 divider walls, and new audio storage doors in the adjacent room. So all of that is underway in different phases. We're still working around all of the activity that's still happening at Radcliffe. And then I talked about the HVAC, a lot going on there. Miscellaneous rooms, the exit signs, that was like a compliance issue, those got completed. The science lab is complete. That's going to be the home for the thrift store. We think September or October, they're going to be moving over. Some other rooms, a relocation of the cardio room. That project is starting. The fitness room is going to be moving. I think we went through a lot of this last meeting. Yeah, okay, I don't want to repeat too much. So all that's happening. We do.
Fitness room's bigger, it's going.
Yes, the fitness room is going to be moving to what was the game room. And then the game room's going to move to what was kind of my office area, in that area. So all of that should be happening this summer, late summer. The renter is, I think the lease is getting finalized to bring in the renter, which will be Imagination Station and some of those rooms on the very west side of the building. And then the road between Radcliffe and the school is going to be under construction, I think next week or possibly later this
They
week.
sure need work on that road coming into Radcliffe.
Yes, it's very bad.
Yes.
So that'll be closed down for a couple weeks, but you just
To the
can't
other
go
side.
through there. You either got to come into Wildwood or go back around the south side of the building. So a lot of stuff going on. We still have, we have camp this week. Let's see, wait, let me, well, I'll get to, okay, I'll go to the last page, the mural, if you didn't see it. Great job to all of the painters. Dennis was there, even though he's not in a photo. I
already
heard about at
complained
least
about
10
that.
minutes of that.
If it's not in the photo, you.
Dennis went to the bathroom and he got cut out of the photo, just like Robert. Robert went to the
You
bathroom
got
and
to
he
see
got
the
cut out.
whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I was there too.
If it
But I
wasn't
think it
charted,
turned out really
wasn't
nice, certainly very transformative and,
And I've
The
been
guy
getting some nice feedback from people that,
Yes, so am
yeah.
I.
yeah, that they
Yeah, I mean,
like.
I doubt everybody wants this in your house, but.
Right.
But obviously, this is a public place. It could not have looked worse than what it did when we
And
started.
The small photograph in the center with the fellow with the Unruly Beard is the one who put it all together.
Yeah, that's Ivan, the artist there,
Yeah.
a local artist, so that was really nice to see.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So a couple other notes, the summer hours have started, so as a reminder, it's just Monday to Thursday, 9 to 2. There are a handful of other things that are occurring after hours, so a lot of the other operations are still open. We still have dodgeball on Wednesday evenings, for example. We have some rentals, so there's still a lot of activity at all hours, but our front desk is really limited to those 20 hours. We did pilot the spaceport camp last week, and we had 8 kids sign up, which was great. And then this week, our Camp GC is at capacity with 30. So that's really nice to see. Parks, of course, are very, very busy. I think Mike had said all of the big pavilion is rented every weekend now through September. Very busy. The Manor Park volunteer was a success. We had, I think, 23 volunteers show up. Some people we recruited that were just like visiting the park, but that was perfect. And then Dance Express was a really fantastic recital, if any of you saw that or have family or friends in it. I think they sold $10,000 in ticket sales in those 2 days.
They sold out.
They did their
just to show on.
registration and have filled like, I wish I knew how many classes already, but it just goes to show the demand and loyalty people have to the program, and really, really nice to see. So even with reduced staff, reduced hours, there's a lot of good things happening at Parks and Rec, good things at Radcliffe. And there's where I noted the upcoming park volunteer event. So if you can make it, great. If not, there'll be more down the road. And I think that's all I have. Any other questions or anything I didn't cover?
We're gonna try to keep Mulder Park around September, maybe first part of September, because I won't be here in the month of August.
Okay, yeah. I think September would be great. I think we've got our hands full
Yeah,
between now and,
they'll be done with
so I'll get with you on a date and we can try to get it on the calendar.
The Kiwanis Park, this Saturday,
Yeah.
what's going on? Like, what exactly are they doing? Like,
It is
how
gonna
should you
be-
come prepared?
It is going to be a giant pile of wood chips
Okay,
dropped off for primarily the playground. That is going to be the main task because they dug it out, so it needs like 8 to 10 inches of wood chips
okay.
in that whole playground.
So like, if you have a wheelbarrow, should you bring a wheelbarrow?
Yeah, we will have wheelbarrows and pitchforks. I mean, if you have one, you can throw it in your vehicle.
Okay,
That would be great.
okay.
They need at least
So-
30 people.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll
right
get
now,
done real
no one
quick.
had signed up because we just, if you remember, Kiwanis was like, we got this, we got this. I'm like, okay, all right. And then, you know, they needed a little more supplies, and then I saw the condition of the park. We had to get it skimmed, and then we needed more wood chips, and so I think it's going to be an overwhelming pile that they're not going to get through.
Wasn't it, it was Florence, that went so fast because we had so many people that day.
Yeah, and we
remember
had a
that?
tiny
Like-
pile.
Rotary, I mean, it
Yeah.
took us the full amount of time, but we had so many people that it
Yeah.
it went
Yeah,
so
it
The
goes
key
fast.
isn't a good turnout,
Yeah,
because
the
it's
key is-
very
is
physical work.
people and
Yeah.
being able to do lots of
Hopefully it won't
physical
be
work.
so hot.
Yeah, it'll be at 9 in the morning, so it's better
Right.
than, that was the problem with our Moeller workday. We had it for 1 o'clock on that 95-degree day. It was like, yeah, we're
And if it rains, it will be canceled.
Cancel, yeah.
yeah, I guess so. Maybe someone will be there.
Who went in and skimmed the mall?
DPW did.
Yeah, they were there about
So-
half a day.
Yeah, and they power washed it. So,
Okay, mulch.
And there's not a front-end loader we can borrow or have DPW be
Oh, I
out
know.
there.
no, I mean,
I mean, seriously.
what happens is.
They
when
have
we
a
do
bunch of 'em
volunteer
over there.
workday, It doesn't take long to think like, wow, some equipment would really make this go a lot faster. But anytime you bring in equipment, now there's like, either we have to have staff that are trained, safety things. When we have volunteers, what we have are numbers, and if we have able body, we just have to do old-fashioned labor.
The biggest
I mean,
equipment you have is a
But
wheelbarrow.
every
so-
time I do workday, people are like, oh, if we only had a, you know, a
Right.
front ender, or the- you know, which is true. I mean,
It is.
but volunteers, you know, it doesn't kill us to do a little bit of physical
Right.
activity, you know, 2 hours
You
a
could do a
month.
lot of physical activity loading that front-end loader.
Because that's gonna take a long time to load that up versus a wheelbarrow. You wanna work on it?
You can do it.
All we
You
really
can do it.
need is like a football team.
No, not me, not anymore. Can't do it.
Teamwork,
No kidding.
Yeah,
It's the dream work.
Good to do,
well, it's very
man-
satisfying,
good to
right?
do manual labor.
It is good, you know.
It is.
You're a little sore the next
Fresh
day, you know you've done
air,
something.
yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I don't know, we need to get it
so anyway.
painted.
Okay.
So we're done with the up and coming events?
I won't be there Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think I included.
Question,
Cousins and
we're done with the up and coming event programs.
I do know.
Your part.
I apologize, I don't think I added those on there. There is the 50 and over barbecue on July 1st, which is next Tuesday at Radcliffe. We're going to be grilling out, it's going to be great, so,
in over?
yeah. So stop on by, sign up, it's $10.
What time?
I think it's at noon.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's coming up, obviously the volunteer work days. And then, you know, we have some camp openings in July.
you said it's this Tuesday?
No, I'm so lucky.
Yeah, July
I
1st.
work on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
It'll be like the 4th of July on July 1st, a Tuesday.
Finally able to go to the.
So you should definitely come. We're gonna have Impossible burgers, dogs, a bunch of sides.
I can use
We're
the,
grilling veggies.
go use the
We're
gym.
gonna be on the patio, we got new picnic
Oh,
tables.
it really looks,
so
by the
nice.
way, the patio really looks nice.
Well, we have 8
And I saw you
tables
had
to
new,
assemble
I saw
before
you
that.
have boxes out there.
Yeah, we got 8 more tables to assemble.
But you could go out there and sleep. I mean, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
They got a big couch.
Dennis gonna go by, see if he can take a nap.
So those are the events that I can think of.
All right, young fella, you got anything for us?
It's a 50 and up club now.
Rob?
Just awesome job on the mural. I think it turned out better than what we were given as an example. I think, yeah, it turned out perfect. The colors are a little different, like, awesome. And I would like to say thanks to Mike Downey. I see he's not here today, but we had that, well, the GCYAA put on their first color run, and he had the tent, he had all the big toys out there, he loaded them up in the truck. I tried to help whenever I could, but yeah, set that up, so it's good to see the presence and the combination of the two working together in the parks. Awesome. That's all.
Sharon?
Don't have anything. The mural's beautiful, yes.
Bridget?
I don't have anything.
Jennifer?
Yes, I do. So I got a email today from Derek Fisher, the superintendent. I'm not sure if you've gotten this information about Bounce Back to School. You got that? Okay, cool. I was just gonna make a note about the presence of the Parks and Rec at that event, and that's all I have.
Miss the bounce back.
Oh, Bounce Back to School for the public schools is August 28th from 4 to 7. And they're looking for community outreach and, you know, representation from Parks and Rec, PTA, soccer, baseball. I'm sure maybe Joe's gotten that information. Hockey, just to set up some tables and kind of advertise and whatnot. So that's all I have.
I have nothing.
I've already said my piece.
Yes, yeah. One of my neighbor's son plays at Moeller Field baseball, and he said there was some low spots out there. I didn't see it myself, but I was gonna ask Mike about that.
Like in the field or the
Yeah,
infield?
in the field, out in
Okay.
the field, yeah, he said there was some low spots. And you guys did a great job on the painting. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to paint, but Dennis, you
Yeah.
did a great job. I wanna commend you for that.
Was he really there?
No, no.
Yeah, what's
Well,
There's no
well,
I mean, so evidence.
well, one more thing though. I notice older people don't get on pictures anymore. What is that? I just wanna know.
You cut Dennis out of the painting.
Yes.
You cut me out.
Cut Robert, you cut Robert,
Minutes of listening to this.
you cut Robert out of the ribbon cutting.
I didn't do that.
Well, it doesn't matter. You gotta stick up for us. You gotta stick up for us. If we're in a picture, you gotta stick up for us.
A photo of him now, and we'll superimpose him in
She's
there.
supposed to have our back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
I
your back
got a
here.
great photo of us that one time I did like a selfie here. It's in my office.
Oh, was that at
I'll
Christmas?
take a photo.
Was that here or was that
I
at
have one-
Christmas?
No, I did one, the ornament,
Oh, yeah, you had the
Oh,
ornament.
but no, I have,
We did one in here?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
They had a
I'll
great
take a photo, the
turnout
photo.
Yeah,
in the park.
Oh, yeah,
Last
there
week,
was,
too,
yeah.
yes.
We
Yeah.
went to that.
Yeah, there's another one in July.
Yeah, your people with Parks and Rec was there.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, when is that in July? Should put that on the upcoming events.
I think it's near the end, I think.
Third Thursday, isn't it? Maybe?
Dennis, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Up,
You know what, there was one thing, I don't
Go
know if
ahead.
anybody's interested, but the Garden City Garden Club is having their garden walk on the 12th of July. So it's the weekend after the 4th of July.
Okay.
So, and it's,
And then-
I think it's 15 without,
they go?
there's a price with lunch and a price without lunch. And all that information, they have the tickets and stuff at Barson's and.
They go to different houses, so each house, like, it, like
Like, as a
submits.
resident, I can submit my
Yeah,
house.
they
if
find
I-
different, people's houses and,
You drive to them, or you?
Yeah.
yeah, they give you a map, and then they tell it, write up a little bit about each house and, their inspiration. And,
I love that.
every time I go, I kind of pick up a little something like, that's a good idea for my yard, I should do that there. It's really kind of, you should try it once, at
Yeah,
least.
no, I love that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you guys come by my house, I think once. I
Oh,
got a couple rewards.
Did you get, yeah,
I got a
right.
couple rewards from you guys, awards.
Have you been on the walk before?
No, I've never
Well,
been.
you're
there.
gonna
I've
have-
been invited.
We're
though.
gonna have to, get your house on the walk. 'Cause your house always looks stellar. It's all flowers and stuff.
Except Tuesday morning.
That's a win.
Tuesday morning when you put your trash out.
Trash out, right.
Early.
Early, yeah. You're gonna drag it in. No.
This is why they're not in pictures.
Dennis, anything else?
No, I have nothing else.
And Erica,
Well, we could crop them out right now.
crop them out.
Stop it at
Erica,
Sharon.
anything else?
No, I've covered.
Are
it all.
you've covered it all?
Your little bleeps up.
All right, I can't make a motion, but somebody needs to.
Motion to adjourn?
I need a second.
Second.
Oh,
All in favor?
Bye.
8-0 again.
Yes.